Hello, my loves, and welcome to today's episode. This is going to be one that I get a lot of questioning around when it comes to integration, right? Integration, which is basically what you do after you have gone through a form of a healing, whether that's through energy work, whether that's through plant medicine. But today we're going to talk all about what to do in integration after you've gone through an energy session. So, a lot of people think that you come to an energy session and that's it, wham bam, off you go, you're fully healed, you're vibing. And that really isn't the case. You're going to have to do some work yourself. No one really likes to hear that, but that is the reality. So, only 8% of the actual magic and healing and transformation is done on the mat or online, depending on the session, depending if it's in person or if it's online. Both are just as effective. It just works whether you can physically come in to see me or if you do need that space where you have to be in a remote field, depending on where we're located. But the other 92% of the work comes afterwards. So, for example, easy things that I recommend. Number one, your sleep may be disrupted afterwards. When you do energy work, typically things become alive at nighttime. And often you'll do your normal bedtime routine. If you have a routine, you wind down. But a lot of the time, we are rewiring our brains at night. That's why we sleep. That's why our body needs sleep. When you've done energy work, it comes alive and you can almost wake up 3, 4 in the morning and have this like sense of like, I am awake and I do not know why. And that is because our brain cells are rewiring, they're changing, they're adapting. It's something called neuroplasticity. It is forming new levels of circuits in the brain, and you will come awake and you'll become alive and you'll be very much like wanting to do things. And we don't want that, right? Because you'll typically have to go back to your day-to-day life the next morning and run your usual way of life. So first tip, magnesium. Magnesium glyceride is the best. Glycinide is the best because your body absorbs it quicker. You feel less groggy in the mornings as well. So take that about an hour before bed. And that just ensures that you have like a full night's sleep. And none of this wild, we'll be waking up at 3, 4 in the morning unless something wakes you up. Second tip is when you are in a place where you're removing a lot of energy from your body, you really need to ground. And what is grounding? Grounding is when you either put your feet in the earth, use a grounding mat, which you can buy online, or you are out in nature, whether that's swimming, whether that's also in a shower with some water. You're connecting back to nature, back to earth's elements. And that might sound a bit woo-woo as well. I get it. But the reason why is we have worked to remove so many blocks, energetic fields, whether they're nice or not nice in your body almost will feel a bit like, ooh, whoa, okay, like we're out of it. This is a bit wild. This is a bit crazy. So it's really good to ground. So feet off in the sand if you have that luxury, or literally get a grounding mat off Amazon. Super easy, super good for your body to release all the energy out through your feet. And another tip I give my clients is when you are meditating, if you are a meditator, if you think about your feet as roots in the ground, like rooting in, like tree trunks, it helps you to feel more held and safe by the earth and really helps you if things feel a bit rocky, a little bit on edge, and just feeling like, things are changing quickly, but you want to have more control or you want to feel more in control in your body. That's a good tip. Thirdly, keep hydrated. And I don't just mean water, I mean things like electrolytes, which is like extra hydration. If you can as well, put some pink salt, Himalayan salt, sea salt, rock salt into your water as well if you want less calories. Keep that because your body is so heavily weighted with water. When you do energy work, it really dehydrates you because we're doing so much work into that area to make you feel better. So keep hydrated. I mean, like extra hydrated, because the last thing you want is to get a headache from dehydration, or to feel like you're cloudy, you can't think straight because you're so heavily dehydrated. So hydration. Um, Fourth tip is, if you want to expand your capacity into what effectively people call as manifestation. So if you want to expose yourself to situations that are going to expand your brain so that you know they're possible for you, watch really inspiring things, whether that's films on Netflix. So say, for example, you're manifesting your partner, you then want to watch films of like the dream kind of partner for you. And I don't mean like necessarily looks, I mean how you want to be treated in that relationship, what you want to experience, what circumstances maybe you want to call into your life, to how you meet them. Your brain is so open now because we have worked with rewiring your brain. You're going to be very open to absorbing what your external world is showing you and sharing with you. So watching things, or if you want to be successful in your business, watching successful entrepreneurial YouTube channels, podcasts, listening to those things where you're going to be like so exposed to understanding and seeing these ways of life. That's one that people don't think about. Fifth one as well, when you come out of a session, and I always work with my clients around like really protecting your energy, because you're so open now, you're almost like the phrase a moth to a flame. You're light, right? You're seen as light. People can see you, whether you realize it or not, consciously or unconsciously, and they will want to be more drawn to you. And it's having that discernment of whether you want to have these people in your life, whether you want to talk to them, of course, and day to day, you can't not speak to people that you know, whether they feel good or not, you know, in certain circumstances, maybe it's work, or your day-to-day life, but be more mindful. So I teach people how to protect their energy and how to clear their energy as well, so that you're around those people where if you do need to be in situations that you don't want to be in, you're protected and you keep yourself clean and clear. So that's like another non-negotiable as well. If you do, another form of clearing your energy can be through certain meditations that I have recorded, or you can do certain things like you can have a shower and use Epsom salts, have a bath, use Epsom salts, get into the ocean, I'll get into a saltwater pool. Anything basically salt is really good for cleansing your body and clearing your body. And it's just a really nice ritual to do as well. Like if you have the luxury and the time to do it, maybe get something that smells good as well, and just like incorporate that into your day to day. And another thing, if you're open to this, a lot of people like to use sage or Palo Santo. So sage is here to clear a space, and then Palo Santo is here to ground a space. So that's something else you can think about using as well. You can buy them from yoga studios, health shops. They will always sell them if you want to ask them as well. So those are good integration tips. Also, when you do an energy session with me, it takes the first 72 hours can be whatever you're working through can be shown to you. Sounds quite crazy, I know. But what happens is, because you are changing your internal state through your own cells, your external world will start to shift and move around that, and will start to reflect these things to you. So you might see, for example, I see this a lot with some of my clients. If there's an ex-boyfriend, or if there's a partner in your life that you have recently, you know, made the decision that you don't want to be with, typically a lot will come up through them, because they are sensing that you're different. You know, when you meet people and say you've been on like a retreat, or you've been on a really nice holiday and you're super relaxed, and people are saying to you, babe, you feel different. Like, what's going on? Like, you feel physically different. That is because your energy is different, right? Whether they know it or not. And so that really helps to bring about those feelings externally, where people that you've been with intimately will feel that. They'll be like, oh, she feels different and I don't know why. Like, what's going on? So you will tend to notice that will kind of circulate and change and make differences as well in your life. And then the rest of the integration is about 30 days if you've done a one session with me. And that can take from extremes through to new jobs, new careers, new homes, new locations. Like I say, that's extremes, but that's been things that you've probably been thinking about for a long time. It'll just speed up the process for you. Less extreme, you will get more clarity on where you want to go, and actions will start coming about for you to take those decisions. So, for example, say you've been in a home for like 3 years and you've been renting it, and then randomly, like, your lease comes through and you need to make changes whether you want to live there or not. Simple things like that, which obviously are like very big life decisions to make at the time, will inevitably come into play if they're not in alignment with you. And for someone listening right now that's like, holy shit balls, that sounds fucking scary. It's not. It is at the time, but it's basically giving you opportunities to really transform your life and to live the life the way that you want to, and to be given different choices and different circumstances. And another good thing is as well, when you're reintegrating, people are huge. If you have recently said, I want more meaningful friendships, the friendships that are there when, say, times aren't as good. I want friends that have got my back and give back to me just as much as I give to them. You'll see new people come into your life. You'll maybe lose friendships as well. I found that was a big one for me when I was going through my training process. Like, there's normally a core theme that comes up that can be really quite like a real upsetting extra theme, almost like what someone would say is like an Achilles heel, when like the rug has been pulled from you, that theme really triggers you. And it can be in love, it can be in money, it can be in relationships, whether that is, it doesn't have to be intimate, but it can be friendships. And for me, friendships was a big one. And having long-term friends, things like that disappeared. And things that you think that are going to be with you in the long run, they don't. But it leaves space for things far more magical, far more connected, far more relatable. And often if you're thinking, oh, I want to try this in my career, I want to start building this, you'll start meeting people that are doing that. And they'll really showcase that to you, and they'll really demonstrate to you that that's possible. Maybe circumstances where you've thought about moving overseas for a while, you start meeting people that have been going to that country for a while. So all these crazy new things will start coming into life for you. And it's just paying attention to what's happening externally will really guide you where to go next as well. Also, when it comes to things like your integration, be really aware of the environments that you're in if you have that luxury. Like I said, I teach you how to protect your energy. I understand people don't have the situations where they control if they may need to be in the office or they may need to be around certain people on a day-to-day that they don't want to be. But if you have the option to choose your environment, definitely surround yourself in places and spaces where there are really supportive communities, where there are people that vibe, where there are people that are probably like 1 to 10 steps ahead of you that you can learn from if you know where you want to go. Even if you're in this like transient time, which I find I attract a lot of people where you want to do something more, but you don't know where you want to go. And it's giving you the clarity. So whether it's being someone that's worked in a 9 to 5 that now has their own business, or they're building on the side, like those sorts of people come into your life now where you'll be like, how did you do it? What would you do? What would you not do? And so really getting like those ideas and the clarity of what is maybe next for you as well often can come through an integration. But like I say, like, it's a really beautiful time that you can really take control in your transformation. And it's scary. I get it. I have a lot of clients where, they hear things where they're like, oh my gosh, are you putting things inside me? Like, where has the energy come from? Who is the energy through? This is all yours. This is already your innate energy. It is life force energy. We are born with this energy, just as, for example, things like when we're a child, we are taught that we need to be quiet at certain things, or seen and not heard, or the people pleaser. We take on different roles in our life, in our family, and there's no blame game here. That's just the human experience. That's what happens to all of us. And we take on these roles as family, and often we can dull our shine. We will not focus our energy in places that we want to. And this leads us to maybe making decisions in life where we think we should, right? Like society, things like we should be married by 30, or we should have 3 kids and a house by a certain age. We should be with a certain partner doing a certain career. And these things, if they're in alignment, are amazing. And what a blessing to experience. But we're all meant to be here to follow what we're meant to be doing. And I never want to say this is like extremes, like quit your job and go all in your business, things like that. I don't mean those sorts of things. I mean, giving yourself the grace and time to take steps each day to know where you're heading to. But the first part is often we don't know where we're heading to because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing, because we hold so much energy blocks in our body from lack of beliefs of what we've been told we should be doing. Like, for example, say we're born into a family where everyone is all lawyers or dentists. They have a very like a structured linear career, and we have done the same. But we are at a point where we're like, I just don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be in this field. I've never wanted to be, but I've been told as a kid to do it, and I've done it, and it just feels so off. When we work with our energy, we get clarity and intuition of what we wanted to do as a kid. And yes, of course, I'll give an example. Like for me as a kid, I love playing with dollies. I love playing with children and animals. And I always wanted to be some form of like a midwife or nurturer, a carer. But when I think about the reality of it, God bless anyone that's a midwife. That is not what I want to do in my life. But for me, I love people. I love connecting people. I love networking. I love building community. I love nurturing people. And that is why naturally, for me, my work and being a healer and being in the podcast and the YouTube space makes sense. But that has all come through clarity, through energy work, through working on myself. And what I want to say as well is that mindset work is incredible. It is, but it's only 20% of the work. 80% of our blocks of limiting beliefs and what the shoulds be, right, are stored in our body. And when we start working through both of them together, it transforms everything. You get clarity, you remember who you are, what you're here to do, who you're meant to be. And sometimes it isn't the most like save the world things, you know? Sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I wanted to be a painter and I wanted to create, I wanted to build, I wanted to have beautiful spaces, I wanted to be an interior designer. So then naturally, with what you're doing now, you create space, whether it's half an hour a day, an hour a day, if you have that luxury, to start building that on the side and to start fulfilling those parts of you. And then the things will open, the doors will open, the people will come in, like you'll feel more alive in who you are. All these simple things will come in because you have opened up your energy and you've become more back to your authentic self, right? Because remember when you see kids running around, they have so much energy. They're very like, you know, often very expressive and often share things. And when, you know, as parents, you're like, no, babe, don't say that out loud. Like, don't say that in front of someone that you've been maybe sharing with them at home. They just don't care. They're so authentically themselves. They express their truths. They share. They ask for what they want. That's what we're meant to be as humans. And we're taught not to be like that, not to act like that, not to be a certain way. And when we come back to authenticity, that's what happens. And some people like it and some people don't like it, but it really, really helps to create that level where the circumstances align to who you're meant to be. So hopefully, I've gone a bit of a tangent around integration, but that's really helped you. And I often want to say as well, like, it can bring up a lot of emotions as well. Like, if there's certain emotions stored in your heart, for example, and when you work with this energy work, a lot of the work is done through the heart. It can really make you feel like a lot of grief that's been trapped in the body, or a lot of lack of communication, maybe as a child. So you might feel a lot stored in your throat. There's a lot of like coughs and colds that can happen afterwards because your body's basically purging what has been stored in it for so many years. That you're almost like, holy shit balls, I had no idea that this is happening, and I'm feeling sick, or I'm feeling really exhausted, or I'm feeling really run down. You have that ability now to release that from your body. So if you also have the luxury of like saunas or steam, you know, you can steam at home, but that really helps release those build-ups in your body as well. And there's often a lot of inflammation because with energy works a lot of fire energy, so a lot of inflammation can be stored in the body, so that can really help release it too. So hopefully that's helped with an idea around integration, and you can come to as many sessions as you want But if you don't reintegrate, it's not going to make much of a change. And sometimes I say that to my clients, like, it's a lot of accountability is on you to take responsibility to what you've seen in our sessions, what you've received in our sessions, what clarity you've had, and to make the moves. There's no point in you saying, and this is, I call clients out on this, and you might not like this, but it is the reality. Say you're dating someone and you don't feel like they're good, but you don't have the confidence to leave them. You can do all the energy work you want in the world, but if you're going home to them in the same time in the evenings and they're not healthy for you, you're just rolling around in the same shit, different day. And it's not ethical for me to continue to work with you, and it's not ethical for yourself. So you really have to think about the choices that you're going to make. And of course, I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. And whether that's doing a 12-week program with me one-on-one, where we actually combine the speaking with the energy work, with the hypnosis, with the reintegration, with you really removing those precise blocks so that you can actually have the true transformation. You can't just rock up to an energy session every week and just expect that I'm magically going to get it. Because what I love about this work so much is I'm here to facilitate, I'm here to do that for you, but you're your own inner healer. Like, you're your own inner healer in anything, any choice you make in life. Like, obviously there are some things beyond our control, but the reality is the majority of it is within your control. And it's the same with energy work. You have to follow through with what you've been shown afterwards to make that lifelong change for you. So yeah, hopefully that has given you a good understanding. And yeah, any of you have any questions, as always, drop me a message. But I'm sending you so much love. Mwah.